What is up, everyone? It is your man on fire mentor, David Mailer, once again coming to you live. Always an honor, always a privilege to be serving my fellow brothers. Quick question for you. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. Is the top of my head chopped off, or do you see the full beauty of this gray hat? Well, today we are going to dive into the center of the fire, and we are going to cover the topic of the importance of being in community. And what does that really mean? And why do you guys need to learn about this? If you're new to Man on Fire, welcome. I have been in the transformational and healing space for 30 years now, and specifically working with men for the past 10 years. It's been an absolute honor and privilege to be able to serve in this capacity and have that honor to really touch a man's life and to help him have more passion, to help him feel more authentically powerful, and to get on track and be connected more deeply with his true mission and his purpose, and be able to bring this more congruent, up-leveled version of himself into all the domains of his life, especially into marriage. I am a huge stand for relationships, for intimacy, for marriage. Having grown up in a home where I asked my father to move out when I was 13, I knew that he loved me, I knew that my mother loved me, and I also knew that they didn't know how to love each other. And you could imagine what it was like for a 13-year-old boy to literally ask his father to please move out. And so I didn't have a healthy home of a mommy and a daddy being modeled for me. And I'm sure many of you listening, have your own stories of all the men we've worked with, from growing up in an orphanage to all forms of different abuse, from physical to sexual to emotional to mental to spiritual. It's very rare that I hear, I had the greatest upbringing, I had the greatest parents, they knew how to love each other, and my father was a beautiful, role model, masculine role model of pure leadership, living from, a heart, an awakened heart. It's very rare to hear that. So part of the drive and part of the passion behind the whole Man on Fire program and community is to really teach men how to come back into being in their heart, how to make that very courageous journey from your head into your heart, where you recognize the sacred beauty of the feminine. You recognize the sacred privilege of being able to protect the feminine the way that you would hold a little bird, the way you would hold a butterfly, the way you would hold one of your children, your daughter, your son, holding them as sacred and holding them with the intention of wanting to protect them and protect their heart. And many men, sadly, and this was me 15 years ago, we lose our way. We lose our way, and next thing you know, we hurt ourselves and we hurt other people. And so Man on Fire is all about helping a man come back into being who he really is, giving up the shame and the guilt that might be preventing him from moving powerfully forward, where he thinks that the changes that are in front of him is insurmountable, the people that he's hurt will never forgive him, and there's no more hope for me to have a life of joy, which couldn't be further from the truth. It does take a lot of courage for you to want to get up after being down, and there's lots of ways that you can do that. Man on Fire is one of them. And so today, guys, I want to dive right into the center of that fire and talk about the importance of community, because I think that we're all a part of communities, right? You can be a part of a religious community, you're a part of a school community, you have a college community, you have fraternity community, your parents are, and your family dynamic is a community. And the question for you to ponder and to consider today is, where are you spending your time? What are the peer groups where your time and your energy is going to? What is the actual community that you hang out in? And before you answer that question, I just want to share one more thing that I think will be supportive for today's live. And that is that the the pain that most men carry, and I would say most of humanity, what they carry is people feel very alone. People feel very disconnected from others. People feel a sense of unworthiness, unlovableness, isolation. I don't fit in. I don't belong. Everyone's over there and I'm over here. And we tend to feel like we're not good enough. And perhaps the situation in front of me is helpless and it's hopeless. And that in and of itself is what suffering is, right? I'm not going to go into the deeper definition that I learned in India, which is suffering is really the avoidance of your suffering. That's not today's teaching. Today's teaching is about a lot of humanity sadly resides in the energetics of suffering, where eventually when you feel not good enough and unworthy and unlovable for a long enough period of time, what ends up happening is you feel isolated and you feel alone. And when you start feeling isolated and you start feeling alone and you're feeling like you may not belong or you don't fit in, this is where a lot of people have a tendency to harm themselves through recreational drugs, or perhaps even harm yourself physically. And for some, sadly, it might even, be the pondering, if not the taking of one's life, which is so painful that it would come to that. So what's the opposite of feeling this way is actually experiencing the bliss, the rapture, the awe, the beauty, the grace, and the gratitude of being in community, and recognizing that I'm not separate from anything or anyone, that I am you and you are me, the ocean and me are not separate. And I'm not talking about needing to go on psychedelic drugs to have this experience. We all have access to having these types of beautiful experiences in life where we realize, my God, I was never separate. I came from love. I came from God's love. I came from my parents' love. Like, my life is not an accident, and I am here in community with everything and everyone. And yes, there will be fleeting moments of forgetting where you feel isolated and alone, but there's also this beautiful opportunity to come back into a space of remembering that you actually come from community. So before I tie the pieces together on this, throw me a fire sign, smash up the like key if you don't mind. I would really appreciate it to help us with our Facebook algorithms. And throw a comment in there. What are you hearing thus far in what I'm sharing? And for the guys that have been around for a long time, I see some of you like Alan and Sean and Pat, and I saw my friend from down under, from Australia, Mr. Hill. If you wouldn't mind, you've been around Man on Fire long enough, and what I mean by that is you've come through our inner chamber experience, where you joined us for a full year after coming to a live 4-day immersion. Let some of these newer guys that are just finding out about us for the first time, help them understand that we are a real organization, starting with myself and trickling through the team of men that truly care and that love profoundly and care about the welfare and the well-being of our fellow brothers. And yes, while we have lots of free content that we put out there on social media to support every guy at any level, we also have coaching programs that are an investment of a man's time and his money, and that we're legit, and we're real, and that we can be trusted. And any kind words that come from your heart, don't make it up if it's not real for you, but any kind words that you could ever share are always helpful, because you guys had to make that decision for yourself to eventually end up at one of our programs. Something pushed you over the edge to trust us, to trust yourself, to sign up for a greater level of support and come to the 4-day immersion before you ended up joining us for a full year. So any comments are always appreciated, guys, to help some of the other guys get through some of their objections and some of the stories and some of the justifications and reasons and things that, the pirates like to talk in our head and talk us out of stuff that could really help us. So with that said, coming back to community, well, actually, let me see if you guys are putting some comments in there. Throw me more fire signs. I see Kurt smashing up. Look at Sean Reed. That's a lot of fire signs. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 times 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 54 right there. And 55. I see a fifth one. 55 fire signs. Man, that guy is tearing it up. Thank you, Sean. We speak tomorrow, brother. Don't forget. All right. With all that said, guys, so the whole topic today, where we're diving into the center of the fire, is about the importance of community and the right community. And so what do I mean by that? Well, I've used this example before, and I just think it's just so perfect, that the movie Goodwill Hunting with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, and Matt Damon is this genius of a kid that didn't go through the school system, but literally a genius in the movie. And you know, him and his buddies, they love each other. They'd fight for each other. They'd kill for each other. They'd go to bat for each other. Drinking buddies, you know, go out, always have a good time. They work in construction. But here's Matt hanging out with his buddies, and Matt's a genius. And while there's zero judgment towards his friends, there's something inside of him that knows he's built for more. There's something inside of him that knows that if he ultimately wants to have an intimate relationship, if he wants to excel in life and step into his genius, then he would have to graduate the current community that he's hanging out with. Not to make them wrong, not from a space of judgment, not from a space of blame, not from the space of thinking that he's better, but to recognize that you become a sum total of the group that you hang out with. You're a total of your peer group. And the question is, the peer group that you affiliate yourself with, is it a group that helps you rise? Is it a group that's helping you have more passion, more power, and more purpose in your life? Is it a group that's holding you to the standard of your true potential, the standard of your soul? Is it a community that keeps you comfortable and keeps you in a complacency coma? Or is it a community, is it a peer group that will help you get uncomfortable, right? A lot of you may have heard the expression from Tony Robbins that growth begins at the end of your comfort zone. And when you come into a community such as Man on Fire, I can assure you, you will be uncomfortable. We are not a community that's based on trying to form friendships. Friendships have a tendency to be more placating. It's more about please like me. Friendships are usually built around being comfortable and good feelings and happy feelings and smiley feelings and, oh, I love that person. They're so sweet. They're so... But the thing is, with friends and family, more often than not, I don't want to say all the time, more often than not, friends and family are never going to give it to you straight. They're never going to push you. They're never going to stretch you. They're never going to challenge you. And truth be told, you won't rise above where they're hanging out. And in the Man on Fire community, we form what's called Soulships. A Soulship is, I'm not interested in being liked by my fellow brother. What I want from him is to hold me to the fire, hold me accountable to my true greatness. Don't let me shrink. Don't let me contract. Don't let me hide. Don't let me lie. Don't let me use stories, reasons, excuses, and justifications of why I can't. Hold me accountable to stepping into the version of me that I know I was born to be. And that is what a soulship is, and that is what you get in the community of Man on Fire. I'm not referring to these free lives that I do on all of the different social platforms. That's something that will be available to you guys, and soak it up and may it inspire you and ignite a fire inside of you that is so strong that you feel compelled to want to move forward. Whether it's with Man on Fire or another community, get in a community that won't tolerate you downsizing your life, that won't tolerate you shrinking, that won't tolerate you playing small, that won't tolerate the stories and lies that you tell yourself. Because you want to be stretched, you want to be made uncomfortable, you want to be challenged into seeing what you couldn't see. You want to be able to see things through different angles, and you want to take on new actions and behaviors in your life that are not what's comfortable. That's where all of your growth is waiting for you. So when I say, well, what's the importance of community? The first thing you got to recognize is that what community are you hanging out with, and is it the right community? Is the right peer group? Is it one that is just keeping you comfortable? Now, you're going to be in communities no matter what. Like, for example, Sean, who threw me 50 plus fire signs, he's in a bowling community. Great. But he's not leaning into the bowling community to necessarily grow and to have more passion, power, and purpose in his life. That's why he joined Man on Fire. Because he knew that if he wanted to birth into a new version of himself, that can have a relationship that's on fire in a good way and start crushing it in his career and start being the leader of his household, he knew he had to exchange the communities that he was hanging out in and be conscious of where he's spending his time and giving his energy and even in investing in himself. And so kudos to brothers like Sean and other guys out there that you recognize that if you want to grow, you got to get into communities that are going to hold you to this. And for those of you, again, that are brand new to Man on Fire, that's the promise here, is that we'll give it to you straight, we'll give it to you real, and we won't sugarcoat it, and I promise you'll feel our heart, but you'll feel fire along with our heart, right? It's not about, telling you what you want to hear. It's about telling you what you need to hear and then holding you accountable to that. So it's not for the weak. It's not for those that are still in a space of allowing the cowardice within them to run the show. No judgment if that's where somebody's at. This is for the guy that knows. I'm ready. I'm ready to be held accountable. I'm ready to be held to the fire. I'm ready to start living into my potential. I know that I got to turn my life around. I know that the world needs more of me. I know that my wife or my ex-wife or my kids need and deserve more of me and from me. I'm ready. That's what we're all about. So my question for you is, what communities are you hanging out in? And are they pushing you? Are they stretching you? Are they challenging you? And are they holding you accountable? Now, good news. For those of you that are anywhere near, whether it's a short little plane ride or whether it's a drive, we are hosting, when I say we, Kenneth, one of the senior coaches on our team, along with two of the other senior coaches, Raj and Michael Halprin, we are hosting a one-day event on November 12th from 8 a.m. in the morning till 1 p.m. in the afternoon. It is a free workshop for you guys to start mapping out your life, getting total clarity on the vision that you have for your life and what are the blockages, what are the blind spots, what's invisible that's holding you back from having exactly what you want. And Kenneth will be hosting that workshop for you guys, and you'll taste what it's like to be in a community. You'll taste what it's like to start experiencing a form of accountability and challenge and support. And yes, at the end of his workshop, he will be inviting men to move forward and come to one of our 4-day immersions, where you would have 4 days of what you just experienced in about 5 hours at a workshop, 4 straight days where you're in a room with 32 other men, myself, and about 8 members from my team, where we are holding you in such a sacred space of you're not leaving this event until you've met the real you. You're not leaving this immersion until you are in a more coherent and congruent and authentic version of yourself, and you've taken off all the masks, you've dropped the facade. No more fake, no more phony, no more bullshit. It's time to be able to look in the mirror and like the guy that's looking back at you. No one leaves that room until you've tasted that, where you start coming back into the remembrance of who you truly are. And the secret weapon and the secret antidote that we use is called love. Love. Imagine that, love. To feel love from another human being, to genuinely feel and immerse yourself in the experience of being and feeling loved, where you could feel the sacredness of that experience to the point where it blasts through your security system, right? Gets past your head and puts you right back into your heart. The truth elixir, where all truth dwells. The portal to having a conscious relationship with your creator. So many of us are so blocked from living in our hearts, from living in truth, denying our relationship with a higher power. And we're trapped in our head. What would it be like to change your station? What would it be like to shift your frequency, to up-level your capacity, to have a relationship with your intuition and with a higher power? What would your life look like if it was operated by faith rather than by fear? So for those of you that want to get a taste of that, I recommend you go to Kenneth's free workshop. We will have a link posted at some point in this chat. And I'm sure you can find it all over our business page and our Facebook group. It will be announced there as well. And again, that will be November 12th. from 8 a.m. in the morning until 1 p.m. in the afternoon. Anyone who is near Dallas, you can fly right into Dallas. You can drive to the program. It's within 15 minutes of the Dallas airport, for those of you that are wondering. And again, at the end of that program, Kenneth will be inviting for those men that are ready to move forward and come to our 4-day immersion. Awesome. We'll see you there. Our next 4-day immersion is in December, the first Thursday of December. And we're almost sold out. I think we have about 3 spots left. Otherwise, you got to wait till next year. In the Man on Fire world, we always say that the time is now. Stop putting stuff off. The time is always now. And that is part of being a man on fire, is your capacity and your ability to confront and to face and to handle and to deal with what's in front of you. Stop putting it behind you. Stop sweeping it under the carpet. Stop thinking that the problem is going to magically disappear on its own. It won't. When you have opportunities to put out brush fires, learn how to do that. Stop waiting for an out-of-control inferno. That's painful, and yet many of us do it. And I know that because that was me. And now we're teaching you guys how to avoid that and how to start living from a space of courage and being able to confront, not be confrontational, but confront what is in front of you in your life, whether that's your finances, whether that's relationships, your marriage, your health, your career, your mission, your purpose, whatever it is. It's time to confront it. All right, guys. It has been an honor to be sharing some time with you today. I always appreciate you diving into the center of that fire with me. Why don't you share below? What was your takeaway today? What did you hear? What did you hear about community? What was a big aha, a big learning that you received? And to the guys that already put in some comments about our brotherhood from their hearts, thank you so much for taking the time and really sponsoring and showing up for other men that, you know, it's a scary thing coming on social media. Oh, these guys are just about the money. Oh, they don't really care. Oh, if you guys really care, then why isn't it free? I mean, we get so much hate thrown at us, so much judgment thrown at us. And, you know, the monkey brain and the monkey mind will just keep spinning and want to judge me and want to judge what the company is. And guys, you don't know anything about me and the company. And if you can't feel the depth of my heart, the depth of my sincerity, the depth of my love and my care, then I can assure you Man on Fire is not for you. And that's okay. That is totally okay. But for those that do feel me and can sense the genuineness and the love that I have for my fellow brothers, awesome. We'd always welcome an opportunity to see you in our community. All right, guys, put in those final comments. Let me see. I do have a link for you guys. Give me a moment here. I think I can pull this off. I believe I can pull this off. This is for Kenneth's free workshop. Let me put this in the comments. Here it comes. Da-da-da-da. Bam. I believe that I just posted it. Super proud of myself. I'm really bad with computer stuff and all that. But I think I was just able to literally copy and paste the link, which is huge. A huge skill set. Big shout out to Michael Halpern for sending me the link. Give it up for Michael. All right, for those of you that haven't gotten your ass to an immersion in a while, get back in community, guys. Remember the sacredness of what is shared at those programs. That is what's real. You go back to life. That's not the real world. That's the unreal world. That is where you are immersing yourself back in a community that is most likely residing at a frequency that will get you to forget pretty quickly what was real. So for those of you that need that recharge, that revitalization, that reboot, to be reignited, to find that fire again inside of your heart, get your ass back to an immersion. Love you guys so much. It is your Man on Fire mentor, Dave Mailer. Have a blessed November 2nd. Bye for now, guys.